I've been thinking lately, if I use my feet more, think about how much time I could save multitasking. I decided to look through my ancestry, see if any of my living relatives are yet to evolve past their primal years. You know, learn from the best. Unfortunately, the furthest I've got with that is my cousin owning a dog, but I should be getting somewhere. Oh no, that's perfect. I'll bring out my inner ape by using humanity's one-upper hand, the ability to create ape simulators. That's genius! By the way, let me introduce you. This is Donkey Kong Jr., he's my cousin.
Alright, Donkey Kong, classic arcade game. I wish you played as the monkey instead. Now this is the quintessential candidate for a parade balloon. Donkey Kong Jr., shocker, is a sequel of the direct variety to the original Donkey Kong arcade game.
Yeah, is this the news? Oh, I've got an exclusive for you.
Now you don't need to play the first game to understand the plot of Donkey Kong Jr., but just so everybody is up to the same pace, in the first game Donkey Kong kidnapped Mario's girlfriend, so as an act of revenge Mario captured Donkey Kong, and now his son, who you play as, goes on a grandiose adventure of 4 levels to rescue him.
I didn't know Shakespeare worked at Nintendo.
I cannot overstate how much I genuinely love Donkey Kong Jr. It improves and expands on the first game's foundations in every way a sequel should, while retaining what made the original Donkey Kong so brilliant, and they say the resurrection of Christ was spectacular. Junior's initial arcade rollout took place in the summer of 1982. I can't blame the video game crash for taking place a year later. Once you've hit a high with Junior, all that follows up is drivel in comparison. You see these? Landfill fodder. The game's mechanics aren't that deep, bro. 3 years later, and Super Mario Bros. Looks like the cola borehole in comparison. As far as the genre goes, Junior is real primitive, but that's its charm. It brings you back to an ape-filled ancestry. Jumping is either stationary or in one set trajectory, like the predecessor title, although mind you, on-foot adventuring isn't too prominent in this game. Replacing ladders from the original Donkey Kong is the inclusion of vines, which drastically change the way levels are structured, and by extent how the player has to maneuver around them. Horizontal movement is inefficient along vines, although that's totally mitigated by how little you actually have to do that, making the rare tedium enhance the overall challenge without being an overwhelming bore. The one exception to this is the final level, giving you an open canvas of vines, but contextually this works great as the final challenge because all the control lies in you. There's no level design to work in relation to here, so any blunders feel like you're at fault, rather than the tedious game design. Stage 3 is also vineless outside of a few safe spots to advance to the next platform up, so that helps balance the overall experience out. And that's a good thing too, because this juvenile ape has an intense footing deficiency.
I bet he'd be good at competitive dying though.
Despite being an ape, world-renowned species for basic athletic competence, Junior's spine will collapse under a drop lower than my blood pressure after losing every continue I've got to this one stupid fucking ledge. But otherwise, good game. Bar that one level, everything works and plays flawlessly, making for a quintessential example of masterfully made platforming before the genre was properly defined. And I'll pin those shortcomings on a quick and shoddy port to console. Boo! Technically this ledge is exactly the same in the arcade version, so that can slide.
In an odd way, I like how little there is to this game. What's there is great, but to push things further would simply be a curdling aftertaste in the back of the throat. It expands in every way a sequel should without reinventing the original. To push things further would require a massive overhaul of the fundamental mechanics, and that day did come, and it was great, but it doesn't feel suited to the coin-op machines. And in that sense, I think Donkey Kong Jr. is a pure illustration of what an arcade title should be. Short yet varied, elaborating on simplicity. If only I knew what it was like to own this game a year ago. There was an Old Testament this whole time!